Welcome back again. We're on part 5 to why I married his ass in the first place. And a lot of changes and transitions have occurred. And if this is your first video, you're 4 behind. And you're going to be really lost on where we are unless you take it and rewind it back and go view the other videos. However, let's get this thing started. So here it is. You guys have heard my testimony, and I finally got away from this crazy man who meant me absolutely no good. I experienced blessing after blessing and people giving and loving on me, and everything should be great, right? Wrong. Yep, I was jacked up from the beginning. I was angry. I was hurting. I was so many things. And I went to the wrong man because of those things. And when I got out, I still wasn't healed. I still wasn't any better. Now, how in the world could that be possible? Well, I have a whole lot of justification. I can tell you exactly why I still remain so bitter and so upset. And I still love me some Jesus. That's right, I did. And for the people that's watching, the Christian people that's watching, see, I'm one of them people, I'm real bold and I'm real out front. I'm front. I don't really know how to be subtle. I only know how to say things blatantly, whether it's in a sweet spirit or even when it was back in the day with my more commanding spirit. But I just want to give a shout out to my Christians that's watching, because see, it's 2 types, the judgmental kind and the unjudgmental kind. You know, the ones that's watching the video and being like, oh my God, August doing all that cussing. Did she say she thinks she helping some women and helping somebody out with her mouth sounding like that, and they looking for a way to poke holes in the story? And then you got the other ones that's saying, whoo, whether I believe she should or she shouldn't be cussing, I get the gist of where the sister's going, so let me continue to listen. And see, and here's the thing. If you can't take what I'm giving you right now as I rewind and tell my story, I'm just trying to understand what God you're actually serving. Because the reason why you ain't helping and delivering the women that you think you should be helping and delivering is because you can't hear them. They can't express their pain. They can't get what they feeling out because they're constantly being judged. You want them to say it a certain way. You want them to feel a certain way, but they got to get past that pain. And what I had to realize is that even when that nigga was gone, I still had pain that I never got past. Pain from my family, pain from the church, and I was trying to get through it. You know that pain? Where you feel like you always the strongest one in the family, or you're the one that's always there, but nobody's there for you. You know that pain where it seems like you're the one who always reaching out. You know, you call your mama all the time. You call your brothers and sisters all the time. You go and visit your grandmama and your aunties and all that stuff all the time. But who calls you? Who comes to you? Who does anything? You know that pain? Yeah, sister, I feel you, because I'm going to tell you something. You're justified. Oh, I was very, very justified in a lot of my pain. Because even though I had all these people coming to my aid, helping me and coming to my rescue, I still kept wondering, where in the hell is my family? Well, they'll probably call me if they want me to braid their hair. Oh, okay, bam. So that's kind of, what I was dealing with. And I had all of these memories and all of these different things that people had did that just got me so freaking upset. And here it is, I'm still torn in this psychotic circumstance of going to church, loving God, wanting to be free, wanting to move forward, but still having that edge. And when people would say to me, you're a beautiful person, you got a great spirit, you're really inspiring, but then at the same time, they would be like, August, are you okay? Or why are you this way? It could be something as simple as a Negro in the grocery store telling my baby, smile. Because I ain't walking around, what? I never, ever, ever, ever thought that there was something wrong with me. And I rested and I stayed in my justification for a very long time. Y'all, I got played so many different kind of ways by my family. It was so freaking ridiculous. And have you ever just thought about the ways that you got played? You know, they say that there's this thing about there's three sides to every story. There's your side, the person's side, and the truth. But I really believe that that's not exactly an accurate statement, because every once in a while there's a meter, there's a gauge, there's your side, their side, and the gauge is the truth. And it's either leaning a little bit more to your side or it's leaning a little bit more to their side. Well, you know something? I got tired of being accused of the gauge being lent against me for being the one for doing wrong. And I said, you know what? I'm finna shut this stuff down. Baby, I started moving on and I started distancing myself from my family. I stopped going to dinners and eating with them and going to visit. I call here and there because you know what? I don't want none of their kids living with me no more. I don't want nobody borrowing no money no more. I don't want nobody wanting no discount braids by me no more. And sitting there always thinking that I'm the person that's got an attitude when I ain't asked nobody to pay not nan bill, buy no Pampers, not pay no rent. Everything I did it on my own or with the help of somebody else. Sister, I feel your pain. Because you are that same woman where it's like, okay, you know what? I'm tired. That's literally all it is. You're just tired. Look, I can give you a couple stories. Once again, it's not to shame anybody. It's not to put anybody down. But it's just so that you can understand that I understand that you get sick and tired of being played. Oh, but, you know, we're going to learn in the end we get played because we play ourselves. I remember one of my siblings had this issue with being suicidal. And he would call, and I want to kill myself. And everybody would go crazy and run to his aid. Well, he had a daughter. Well, to keep him from losing his daughter, guess who he asked to take his child? Now, mind you, I done just got divorced. I got a 10-year-old, I got a 6-week-old, I'm on welfare, food stamps, and I need people to give me stuff just to fill my house. But y'all know what I did, right? I took my niece in. And because I want to do the right thing, and she went to school all the way in Eureka, and I'm all the way in freaking St. Louis City. We talking about an over an hour drive, but I want to make sure that she stays in the same school and her world don't get turned upside down. What do? I drive her all the way out there. But I told him, just give me financial support. But when he didn't give me no support, you know what I did? I went and added her to my case, baby. Yes, I did. I headed on down to the welfare office. If you don't give it to me voluntarily, you're going to give it to me involuntarily. Because at the end of the day, he was a functioning drunk. He did still keep a job. And no matter how suicidal he claimed to be, he kept on working. But you better believe, when them child support papers hit, he came and snatched his daughter, and it was F me, and he went on about his business. Who was hurt? Who felt deceived? Who felt played? And see, when stuff like that happens, you know what ends up going on? You start rewinding and remembering anything and everything that somebody did wrong to you. And so I'm just telling these stories because I want y'all to understand how deep the pain was. Because see, I only married that nigga in the first place because I was looking for love in all the wrong places. So I didn't feel like I had it from my siblings, but that's okay. I could get it from somewhere else. Well, you know, everybody used to always tell me, oh, because you're so ungrateful. Here it is, your grandmama took you in and you don't even love her the way you supposed to. She treats you like a mother. You need to respect her like one. Well, I felt like I was always a freaking stepchild. You know, in one season in my life, I got evicted out of one of my houses when I was younger, when I was renting. I got evicted because I had a slumlord. It wasn't that I didn't pay my rent, but I wasn't finna give him no rent money because he wasn't taking care of the place. I was holding it hostage. And he went and filed some paperwork against me. And by the time we went to court, I'm like, hey, Judge, I'll give him his rent. I just want him to fix the place. He was like, yeah, well, he has the right to also ask you for all of these fees and court costs. And I didn't have that. And I got evicted. So what did I have to do? Well, my wonderful grandma and my grandpa, they had this big old beautiful house that the entire family could go and stay in as a place of refuge. A refuge for everybody but for August. Yeah, I had one aunt that lived there, but you know what? I ain't never been one that couldn't earn her own keep. So even though grandma and grandpa got the house for the family, since this one aunt was the one that was living in it and basically was like the main adult there, I paid her weekly. Weekly, y'all. Every time you turn around, giving her $100 a week, $100 a week, $100 a week. Yeah, $100, y'all. Matter of fact, I'm trying to remember. It might have been two. I don't remember. I know for sure it was one. And so I'm paying her good and I'm buying my own groceries and doing my own thing. But when I got into a place where I was ready to move, I sat down like a woman and had a conversation. And I said, hey, you know, I can't move out of here if I'm going to keep on giving you all this money. I'm basically paying you rent. You know, rent was a lot cheaper back then. So let's sit down and let's renegotiate. So you know what I did? This was right before the beginning of the new year. I said, no problem. Give me 6 months. Give me to the summertime. I promise you by June I'll be gone. Now, if y'all ain't figured it out yet, I'm really good at manifesting. When I told my friend I'd be gone in 30 days, I was gone in 30 days. Y'all best believe I was going to be gone by the summer. So here's what I did. I started doing what any smart person would do. Back then, layaway was a thing. Baby, I had brooms, mops, all that stuff in there. And things I didn't put in the layaway, I was buying it and stacking it up in that little room where I was sleeping at. So when I moved into my new place, I was going to be set. And I wasn't going to be broke trying to buy no furniture and starting over. And boy, that ended up backfiring in my face because one day I came in and to greet me in the kitchen is her talking about something. I think you trying to use me. What you mean? You sitting here buying all this stuff and getting all this stuff. Me and my blunt self, not a humble bone in my body. What I say to her? Oh, you in my pockets. Why don't you tell the truth and say you just want some more money? And one thing led to another and we got to arguing and she called my granny. And whose side did my granny take? My granny took her side without getting all the facts because August is already jacked up because she has an attitude problem. Make a long story short, I leave out that night and say, fine, I don't have to beat her. So mad, so angry. By the time I get up and leave and get ready to go to work, I don't have my purse, I don't have my badge. I go stop back by the house so I can get my stuff. And this happened to change the locks in less than 24 hours and wouldn't let me in to get my stuff. So y'all know what? I told y'all I was a little bit off just when y'all thought I was okay. I wasn't okay. Because even back then, what did I do? I cussed her out. I told her come outside so I could beat you down because what you're doing is ridiculous. Those are the kind of memories that started coming back up in my head and I'm sitting here fighting and I'm praying and I'm fasting and I'm believing and I'm supposed to be forgiving. I ought to just leave my family alone. And I know a lot of y'all feel me. Y'all be like, I don't need to deal with these niggas no more. I just need to leave them alone. Ain't it amazing how this all started with a man? But it ain't had nothing to do with a man. It had to do with me. Everything about ourselves, we just got to take ownership. It still comes back to us because trust me, this ain't going where you might think it's going. But how do you fight? How do you fight the anger of feeling betrayed or not feeling love and not feeling a part of? And people always telling you that you unappreciative, but you always trying to hold your own, hold your keep, give your best, be there for everybody else, but you don't feel like nobody's there for you. How in the world do you maintain any level of peace? Where you warring with not messing with them, but believing that you should be messing with them because they're your family. I remember one Easter dinner, I said, okay, I'm going to go hang with the family. Make a long story short, I had another aunt that was like, you know what? I want you to rent my house. What? Oh, yeah, I'm getting married. I'm moving out of town. I mean, I'm married. I'm moving out of town. I'm doing all this stuff. I want somebody in a home that I can trust. And at the end of the day, we can discuss how you could do a lease with an option to buy. Girl, you get yourself set up. You're going to own 2 pieces of real estate. And I'm like, okay, God. I'm praying, I'm fasting. I'm in a different place now, like where I was when I was cussing out my auntie when I was finna beat my ex-husband's behind. So maybe you sending me a blessing. And she told me, you better hurry up and get yourself together, get you somebody in there so you can go ahead and get over here because before you know it, I'm going to be gone. I'm a manifester, y'all. Before you knew it, I did exactly what she said and I got somebody in that house. Now, somewhere along the line, I was told the wires got crossed because she got in an accident. When I called her to let her know I needed a key to move in because I had already told her I had somebody to get the house and that it was official, And when that day actually came, she had this accident. But I went ahead, she gave me the key, and I moved in, and everything is going just great. And she's like, yeah, worst case scenario, if I don't, get moved down there by this day, I am going to go and stay at what would be my grandmother's house. Well, you know what ended up happening? Nowhere. After a little bit over a month of being there with her, she said, things ain't working out the way I thought that they would. You know what? You got good credit and you got the money. Just go find you somewhere else to stay. Oh my God, I was so freaking baffled because I couldn't believe this. This woman told me this. Not only did she tell me that I had to leave, she asked me how freaking fast could I get out because her husband was coming to town for the weekend. I needed to go ahead and be gone. And she called me and told me this over the phone. And here it is, I'm taking classes. I got to call in and I can't go to school because I got to go around the 50 million apartments, driving around neighborhoods, looking for signs for houses and apartments for rent to go find a place to stay. Some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. The experiences may not be exactly the same, but you're like, Dad, why do I keep getting played? What did I do? Why do I deserve this level of treatment? But I had to operate in faith, hurry up and do what I had to do. And in a week, yes, I did find somewhere else to live. And I ended up staying at my mama's boyfriend's house until that place was ready. But it wouldn't be long before I have one more straw to break the camel's back before I just say, I'm not taking this no more. Because why do I keep getting played? And you want to know what my granny did? She was like, well, August, Beverly had that crash and she wasn't feeling that good. And, it ain't her fault. You weren't supposed to be there. And I'm like, really? So it's my fault that I'm there, Granny. You don't even know what you're talking about. Me and her had discussed this for weeks and weeks, every other couple of days, keeping in touch with each other. The accident didn't change the agreement that we had. Oh, so I'm not tuning into the family as much. A little bit more time would pass and it would only be a moment in time before me and my oldest daughter would get into it and she would decide to bring the government into our situation. And I would have to fight to get her and my youngest daughter back because without even going through that whole long story, but that's a very trying situation. If you've never dealt with Children's Division, don't ever judge another woman again that goes through it because that would be a whole nother other book. But all of that pain that I had to deal with and go through, I also had to pay for the attorney. Guess who was by themselves again? Me. My people in my family congratulate me all the time, talking about you love your kids, you did everything, you fought for them, you did whatever you had to do in order to be able to get them back, and you such a loving mother. But they don't even know what I did because they wasn't there. Because the Children's Division like to make decisions based on the benefit of the kids, not the benefit of the parent. At least that's the way they justify it. But at one season of my children being gone, where my little bitty daughter was barely 3, they would separate her from her older sibling and put her into a residential home. But I remember calling again, hey, Granny, you got certified to be a foster mom. If you let them know you'll take Jaden, she won't have to go into residential living. I can't do all of that, August. I'm tired. What? Just a year ago, you got certified to be a foster parent because my other cousin, his kid got taken because he had soft bones. And they kept breaking. And he was accused of being abusive because his mother, the baby mama, because they thought that she was hurting the baby. And to keep him from being in the system, a little bitty infant that can't feed himself, clothe himself, change his own pampers, do nothing, cry in the middle of the night, all that stuff, you took him in. And the family chipped in order to help watch this baby. And here it is, my child by now then turned 4 years old, and excuse me, she's potty trained, she can put food in front of her, she'll feed herself, she know how to wash herself up, because baby, my kids was raised good. You mean to tell me that y'all, the family, can't chip in to help me? Boy, by the time that happened, I was like, F them all. F them all. And at that point in my life, I dipped. I didn't want nothing to do with nobody. I only wanted to deal with the people that I felt like they had my back. And somewhere in the middle of all of this, my husband came into play. I didn't bring him in for the simple fact because it wasn't about going from one man to another man. See, if you listening to this story, what I'm showing you is the evolution of an angry person. I'm showing you the evolution of a little bitty child who through her teenage years, through her adult years, all the way up until she grown, that was hurting. And the thing about it is, in the midst of it all, like I keep on telling y'all, I really did love me some Jesus. I really love God, and I was trying to get my stuff together. But I was so angry, so hurt, and so bitter that I deliberately stayed away from the family. And you know what's crazy? When I stopped going around, period, be that mother, father, auntie, grandmama, anybody, you know what? Everybody else disappeared too. Nobody called me. Nobody said anything. Nobody was like, oh, you missing Christmas dinner again this year. I wasn't invited to nothing by anybody. And so that's when I mentioned yesterday that when I got married, I didn't invite anybody because to me, a wedding is sacred. And the only people that should be there is the people that support it. And how can you support it if you haven't been there to see that the gentleman that I was marrying was worthy? But by this stage in my life, because my life and my walk with God was a lot more secure, I have received internal confirmation that he was the one, and then external on top of that confirmed that he was the one. And if he ain't the one, I'm crazy because I'm still happy, and 10 years later he's still here. But the bottom line is I would be married to him for about, how long was it? For about 2 years. And then all of a sudden I would begin to re-engage with the family. So what in the heck happened? I had to realize that there was one common thread in all of the scenarios that I went through. And it was that I was angry and that I was hurt. See, y'all heard me say earlier that I was justified. But justification for something doesn't mean that it's validation for you to be off the chain. And the reason why some of you are so distraught and so tired and so fatigued and worn out with life is because you're not being in your natural element. What I had to do was get somewhere to get some peace, to get some quiet, so that August could say, you know what? You need to work on you. And I began to see everybody in a different light. I saw my mother in a different light. It didn't make sense to me at first, but I'm like, if a woman had to give away her firstborn child, how much had it must have hurt her? And I just started flipping everything around, and it was like, you know what? You got one choice. Completely stay away from those people or take responsibility for your mind. Take responsibility for your spirit. Because see, here's the thing. You can't grow and you can't go and become the woman you're supposed to be when you're negative, because negativity stifles creativity. I wasn't able to be the woman that I was supposed to be. I used to hate every church that I went to, because I didn't understand why every pastor that I told that I knew I had a call on my life, why they never ever took me under their wing to help me. And to be honest with you, I don't believe that any of them ever knew either, because all of these dark secrets they knew nothing about. Everywhere that I went, every church that I joined, every organization that I participated in, everything that I dealt with outside of my family, I was able to function like an angel. But what mattered is that he knew. What mattered is that there's that unspoken energy. You know how when you walk in a room and you know they was talking about you, everything around me knew. See, we like to think sometimes that we're healed and we're okay, but not only was I angry, I was impatient. Now, how in the world could I, as a life coach, help anybody get through anything with all the pain that I had if I hadn't got over it? Because the minute that you reject the teaching I'm trying to give you, the love that I'm trying to give you, and you don't accept it, it would trigger old hurts. And before you know it, I would be pissed off at you, and I can't be there for you because you know what? You a waste of my time and you wasted your money. You should go get yourself another coach. See, being a coach is a calling. And it requires you to have a very sensitive spirit. And so I had to heal and get past that and learn to love everybody. You would know. You hear me? You wouldn't know that any of the stuff that I'm telling you happened. You'd never know that it occurred. You would never know that I felt that way unless you were privy to the information via the story, or you were privy to that information because you grew up with me. Because at some point I just started saying, you know what? I'm not perfect. And my family accepts me with all my imperfections, and I'm going to accept them with all my imperfections. And some of them still a little bit off the chain. But you know what? I make sure that I limit the connectivity. I learned that everybody that's around you, just because it's of blood or because of how long you've known them and how long you've been friends, it doesn't mean that they deserve to be in your personal space. You can still be cordial without being all linked up. You can still be loving without always being hugged up. But the point is, I had to take the time to heal. And it made me a better woman. It made me a better mother. It made me a better wife. And it made me a better healer for other people. So the question is for you. With all of these women you've seen me be throughout this entire story, which one are you? Which one have you been? What pain from your past, from your family, are you holding on to? What pain from your marriage or previous marriage are you holding on to? You think you let it go, but every time the wrong thing happens, a conversation starts to that begins with a trigger from an old memory. It is not okay to be a bag lady, okay? Get my Erykah Badu up in there. There is healing, there is freedom. But learning how to set boundaries, learning how to love yourself, learning how to say no, those things take time. And sometimes you need direction. So the whole point of telling this story was to get you all to understand that, sister, I do understand. But 2017 is around the corner. How many goals did you set this year that just didn't happen? How many things did you try to accomplish and you got distracted because you were there for everybody else except for yourself? Because see, I didn't have to take my niece. People say, oh, but August, but that's your niece, so I understand. But I always got this saying that if you don't do it, somebody else will. I was mad when I didn't get what I wanted, but I'm the one who decided to take the risk. Unfortunately, me and that aunt, we got a lot of bad history. I probably should have gotten something in writing. How many times have you gotten into situations with family and you didn't think that it happened right with legal matters, financial matters, where you supposed to live, and you just so lackadaisical about it because it's family? No, it's human beings. Put some stuff in writing. Handle your business appropriately. That's when I look back on, I'm like, okay, that's what I should have done. Same thing when I was younger and I lived in the house. Instead of making sure I held my own and held my keep and paid somebody I shouldn't have been paying in the first place, I should have went through a system of checks and balances and said, okay, Granny, the house is for the family. And then if it was any problems, should have been like, okay, well, this auntie over here kind of acting a little money hungry over here. She out of order, and make sure that the record was set straight when I got there, or look for an alternative place to go. How about I would have never been there in the first place if I would have done proper research with the slumlord to find out, instead of withholding his rent, I was supposed to get an attorney and put the money in an escrow account, and there would have been no extra fees because honestly, I was a very good tenant, and the judge could even see it because he looked at the landlord and said, do you really want to do this? Because good tenants are hard to find. That's how good I was, y'all. But as I look back, I began to see all of the accountability that I could have had. The same thing with the ex-husband. It's like, okay, when you saw the signs, when you had the fight, you should have stopped. When you knew he had the 2 kids, you should have stopped. You should have given time to allow him to show that he was a good father. When he lost the job, you should have given him time to find another one. It all still always came back to August, and that's a very painful place to be at. But even though those things were on me, I understand from your perspective how your pain could be so strong that you don't even really need to go there just yet. You just need somebody to love on you, because the thing is, I am built a certain kind of way and I recovered faster. But when you haven't been validated, when you haven't been loved, when someone hasn't cheered for you and believed in you, to just say that, oh, you're supposed to take responsibility for your actions, it's not fair. It really isn't fair. And I think that's the hardest thing that most of our loved ones don't realize. They just want you to get over it, but you just need to be loved. See, at the end of the day, the greatest gift that he gave was love. Yeah. He said that the greatest commandment was to love God with your whole being and to love your neighbor as such. What helped me come out of a lot of the stuff was the love that I received from so many other people. Eventually, I got saturated with so much of it, and I noticed the difference of how I was as a human being when I experienced love as opposed to when I didn't. And I said, I want to stay in that place. And so now everybody that's around me, without me cussing and fussing and using all the language and having all the attitude, everybody that's around me understands you have to treat August a certain way. And not because I'm brash or hard and ignorant, but because I've set a standard. And because my energy is so positive, guess what? The ones that's janky, they can't be around me anyway. Because I'm going to tell you something. When you super duper positive, negative people can't be at you. The only way they can be at you is, when you talk about hiding behind closed doors. Yeah, on the internet, negative people can get at you because hating is like this. But be somewhere with positive energy and be around negative people. They be like, I can't even stand her. At a distance, they have to look at you. At a distance, they have to feel some kind of way. But no, those two levels of energy cannot be in the same place at the same time. But you don't arrive there overnight. So my question is, who do you have to love you? Who do you have to direct you, to cheerlead for you, to validate you, to help you get to the next level? Because here's the thing, you got dreams and you have ideas and stuff that you should be doing, but you gotten so lost in all of the anger stuff that you should have been doing years ago, you ain't even started. And then your dream ended up getting killed in the middle of all of that too. So much time will pass, you'll even wonder if you can even do half of the things that you wanted to do. You hear stuff like it's never too late. But if that doesn't change the fact that it feels like it's still too late. So I've aired out everything about myself, guys. Well, not everything, but sure, y'all know enough. Y'all can just start writing the rest of the script in. Y'all can make it up and probably be on point. But seriously, I am presenting me. I have bared my all because I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to help as many women as I can heal. I haven't imposed it, but if you've noticed on every single video, there's a link at the top. Never in the history of your life will you ever see anything like this again. But I am willing to work with you, sister. I am willing to coach you through that pain. I am willing to work with you on your dream. I am willing to help you get back centered and get back focused and just take it one day at a time. And not through no bunch of email automation and online programs. Yeah, we got some online connectivity, but I'm going to be right there. We do what we do via Skype, on the phone, whatever we got to do to help you get from point A to point B. So if you've been thinking about having a coach, trying to understand how one can help you, trying to even figure out whether or not one would even understand what you're going through to be there to help you, I think that I've proved that point. Click the link. You can look at what the pricing is like. The promo that I have going, it is only until the 29th. For $97 a month, you can have me for an entire year. There's a 30-day guarantee. Come on in, try the program. You don't like it, get your money back, minus a $25 registration fee. I don't play no games with no people's money. You like it, you stay. You don't need the whole year. You need 2 months, 3 months, 10 months, 11 months. You cut it out at any given time that you want to. But the point is, you need access to somebody that's going to understand where you are personally, where you are professionally, and where you are spiritually. And I'm ready to be here, and I'm ready to assist you if you are ready to get up out of your mess. If you want to jumpstart 2017 so that you can start saying, this is what I declare, this is what I decree my life is going to be, then I'm here and I'm ready to work with you. So click the link, get all of the details. It's still relatively inexpensive. If you miss the promo on the 29th, though, you miss out on the opportunity to save $50 a month because it goes up to $147. But if you get signed up between now and guess what? December 29th is actually my birthday. Yay, I figured that, hey, I would extend it out to my birthday. Then you all will get all of everything. The only thing that you'll be missing is a $50 savings. You know, this was just me laying out my heart. And if it's a group of you that like to join and do this together, you can call me via my phone and let's see what kind of group discount we can be, what we can do. My point is I'm here to help you, okay? So this is August Crenshaw. I have shared my life story with you to get you to understand that you're not alone, you're not crazy, but I also want you to see that you can be healed. I'm a regular person. I'm not a superstar. I'm just a regular person that's very passionate, especially about helping women heal because we give so much and it's time for you to allow somebody to give to you. So if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. But thank you all for allowing me to be in your life, giving me some of your time, giving me the accolades and the compliments. But let's move forward. I'm ready to move forward with you and with a friend. Like and share the videos if you believe they'll be of any value to any other sister that needs to be healed. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.